Guys, what's going on? Today I want to talk a little bit about the diet. Diet is always going to be number one when it comes to our health journey, or I say it all the time, our health comes from the inside out. So our health is going to manifest from the inside out, and that's going to be generally dictated in great part by what we put into our mouth on a consistent basis. Now, most of us have fallen prey to the standard American diet, which is actually now the standard world diet because we've exported it all over the world, right? We're sending this poison everywhere we can, and every place it goes, it just completely ravages people. Obesity, chronic illnesses, on and on and on. It's horrible. We're systematically eating ourselves to death. Thankfully today, a lot of people are educating themselves. They're realizing that this is what's going on, and they're trying to make the right changes when it comes to their diet. We tend to have this mob mentality that we want to belong to a group. We want to be associated, right? Most of us don't want to be the lone wolf. And I've talked about that subject in some other videos. I won't go down that rabbit hole today, but I think it behooves most of us not to be, to separate ourselves, right? To be a little different. But anyway, a lot of us do have that tendency to want to be a part of a group. So we'll identify with something, and today we'll talk about the carnivore diet. I'm a carnivore. I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian. I'm a fruitarian. You know, whatever it is, you know, and people gravitate towards that. And again, if they're making any type of change away from that standard American diet towards any other type of diet that's based mainly in whole foods, you're going to realize some type of, in a lot of cases, drastic health benefits just by doing that. Now, when people do make these changes, and again, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to make they'll realize some drastic health benefits when they make this initial change. You tend to get excited and say, well, I've never been healthier. I feel so good on this diet. And again, today we're talking about the carnivore diet. And you do realize these health benefits, and you do get excited about it, and you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is the way to do it. The problem is, again, that most of these diets, the ones that I've mentioned, including the carnivore diet, are very restrictive. You're going to eliminate complete food groups, right? When we talk about the carnivore diet, we're going to focus mainly on, it's going to be animal-based foods, right? We're going to eliminate anything that's plant-based. That includes vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds and beans. Even olive oil is added to the mix, right? So very, very restrictive. We're going to wake up every day and we're going to eat meats. It's going to be steak, ground beef, organ meats like the liver and kidney, pork, lamb, chicken, any type of game meat, fish, seafood. A lot of people will also include some dairy into the diet, into the carnivore diet. They'll include eggs and a lot of fatty cuts of meat, along with the organ meats, which are generally considered to have a higher vitamin and mineral content. And when it comes to drinks on the carnivore diet, again, very restrictive. It's pretty much water and bone broth. You're not going to have anything that's going to contain any sugar, and certainly nothing with artificial sweeteners. And if you're going to follow the carnivore diet to the letter of the law, you're not going to have your coffee and you're not going to have your tea. Again, both are plant-based. And when you want to season your steak and your meat, it's going to be pretty much just salt. When we look at, any of the herbs and spices and things like that, most of them are going to be plant-based, so they're going to be off the table. So it's just going to be pretty much salt. So when it comes to your macronutrient breakdown, again, on a true carnivore diet, when you're going to follow it to the letter of the law, a true carnivore diet, you're going to be taking in roughly 30-40% of your calories are going to be protein, and the remainder, that 60-70%, is going to be fat. So you're going to be pretty much maybe in a constant state of ketosis, where your body's burning ketones rather than sugar or glycogen, glucose for energy. So a lot of the proponents of the carnivore diet claim that these health benefits that are realized from it, and it runs the gamut from obviously initially weight loss, improved digestion, reduced inflammation. The standard American diet is a huge driver of inflammation in the body, in the human body, because of the seed oil content, the high carb content. It's all grain based, and excess sugar, it's ultra processed and things like that. So it drives massive inflammation throughout the body. So when we take that away and we go to something like a carnivore diet, it's going to reduce that inflammation drastically. A lot of people talk about having better energy levels, improvement with autoimmune conditions and things like that. Now, potentially those benefits can come, and a lot of the advocates will say that really the carnivore diet is the ultimate elimination diet. So when you take all the plant foods out of your diet, you're going to eliminate things like the lectins, the oxalates, the phthalates, and it's said that these things interfere with nutrient absorption in our body and our digestion. So that could lead to some of these other issues that we encounter. Taking those things out of the diet, the proponents say that that's why you realize these health benefits. Whether that's the case or not, again, I don't know, but you can't argue with the fact that people do realize these health benefits. There's enough anecdotal evidence out there, and a lot of people say, well, where's your science? The first thing people say is, where's your science? Where's your studies? You have to realize that the pharmaceutical companies thrive off of these chronic conditions, okay? And if you read anywhere when I talk about doing research on something like the carnivore diet, if you go to any mainstream, whether it's WebMD or Healthline or one of these mainstream medical websites, while they may not say that it's completely dangerous, they're always gonna throw it in there where it could be dangerous. You have to talk to your doctor, and doctors don't know anything about nutrition. Doctors don't know anything about it. The first thing they're going to talk about is, well, if you eat the meat, it's going to have high saturated fat and you're going to get a heart attack, which is complete bullshit, to be in plain English. So again, you have to pick and choose where you're going to get your information from. I'm not saying to throw everything out the window, but you really do have to get down and dirty and sift through the bullshit and find what you think the truth might be and go from there, okay? Because the mainstream is always going to gear you towards eating the standard American diet and relying on medications when these chronic issues pop up. When in reality, 90% of them can be reversed, eliminated. You want to use the term cured, just through your diet. So in the end, is the carnivore diet for you? It could be. It could be initially. Again, I find that any of these diets are so restrictive that I think that anywhere between, now I'm taking a wild guess here, but anywhere between 98 and 100% of the population won't stick with one of these restrictive diets for a long period of time. My personal belief is that we evolved, and again, I wasn't back there with the cavemen, and neither were you. So don't tell me that they only ate plants or they only ate meats. I believe, and it stands to reason, that we evolved as omnivores. We ate some amount of meat, some amount of plant-based products. To me, that just makes sense. I could be wrong, but I'm going to stand by my opinion on that. That being the case, I think, and in my case, again, this is only the way I do it. I have a little bit, I eat plenty of meat. I eat vegetables. Sometimes I incorporate fruit into my diet. I drink plenty of coffee, tea, and things like that. I try to get the vast majority of my calories from whole foods. And as a person who lived my whole life, I was raised on the standard American diet. And as I got older, I started to realize what it was doing to my body. And once I made the change, I realized drastic health benefits. Again, I talked about this before. My blood pressure was going up, and things just started to spiral out of control until I made that change in my diet and switched to mainly whole foods. I do some intermittent fasting, cut the booze out of my life, and things like that, and just made some changes. Now, again, can the carnivore diet benefit you? I believe it can a lot of people, but it's so restrictive. I think maybe a good plan of attack would be to try, even if you wanted to try a vegan diet, a vegetarian, you name it. You try that and do it for a while, hopefully realize those health benefits. And then what you can do is start to broaden your horizons and add different types of food back into your diet and see what you react to and how your health goes. But it's really going to take some work on your part. Okay. And it's worth it. It's worth your health to see what's going on and see how these different foods affect you. Okay. If you try the carnivore diet, and hopefully, and it very well should give you some benefit, and then you want to start adding in some fruit, and you want to start adding back in some vegetables and drink your coffee, and you're doing okay. If you add in the dairy and you don't react well with the dairy, well, then you'll take that back out. Okay, but it's going to take some work on your part. And again, there's nothing more valuable, nothing more worth the time and effort than your health. All right, guys. So give that some thought, whether you're a true carnivore, whether you believe in it or not. Let me know down in the comments how you do it, how you get along with your diet. Do you believe I'm wrong on the standard American diet? I get a lot of people that say, well, no, I eat and drink whatever I want. But my take on that is that at some point, you're going to pay a price for that. At some point, the dam is going to break. For some of us, it may break at 20, at 30, at 40. Who knows? There's very few people on this planet that have the genetic fortitude to withstand the standard American diet for any length of time. It's going to get you in the end, guys. All right. So make sure you get your reps in. Stay healthy. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks, guys.